Hello world, welcome to the RNR podcast. So glad you are here.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the studio. We just returned from an awesome event. Where did we go, Rich?
Adventure times, we had some adventures. We went to VCF Midwest, and for the diligent listeners, you will have known we were going to VCF Midwest because we've talked about it in the past few episodes, but it happened. We got there on Friday before the event. Ryan and I both had successful travel days. Nobody got held up. Nobody is in the wrong airport. Nobody missed a flight. It was such a great trip in to start off. What I'm going to say was a great weekend.
Oh, it was an amazing weekend. We got there, as you're right, no big deal. I did make you get your exercise as you're going across the airport.
Oh, that's right. Everyone. Ryan flew in one airline. I flew in a different airline. Ryan was at Terminal 1, Gate 1, basically. I was at Terminal 5, basically Gate 49. When I looked at our pings, we shared our locations. I could not be further away from you if it was possible. That's how far away I was.
It was pretty fun. There was a point where I'm like, I wonder where he's at. I'm looking and it says, oh, he's 0.7 miles away from you. And I'm like, oh, I got a few minutes.
But it still worked. We found each other. We got to the hotel. We got checked in. We met some other fellow VCFers.
Yes.
A gentleman who runs an Atari email list, and we had a great conversation in the hotel hallway. And then we bugged out for some dinner and some good events of that evening.
Yes. The dinner was great. The hotel gave us a good recommendation for a little tavern by our hotel. We were not at the venue hotel. We were about 0.3 miles away, which was an easy Uber ride or Uber Lyft ride, whatever.
Oh, and they had a shuttle. They had a shuttle for in the morning.
They did. So we only had to Uber back, and we shuttled over. So that was fantastic. Even better. I was like, oh, this is great. But after the dinner, we hooked up another guy from my local meetup, and we went over to the Galloping Ghosts Arcade.
Yeah, that was Jimmy, right? We were with Jimmy?
Yeah, right. Josh. Nice try. We'll see if he listens to this.
Josh, we're going to see if you're listening to this episode because you'll get that joke. No one else does. Larry, I know you don't get that joke, but I'll explain it later.
Exactly. It'll be great. So this arcade is amazing. People told me about it like, oh, yeah, you got to go. It's just arcade games. They had a separate – we saw a sign that said they had a separate location for pinball, but this is just arcade games. It's like they got this entire block warehouse and put as many games in it as they possibly could. I don't know. I thought I saw somewhere it was just shy of 1,000 arcade games, and it really felt like it.
It was nuts, Ryan. It truly was nuts. Now, one thing that seemed to be different with this arcade and other arcades, because it looks like they maximized putting units in.
Yes.
That when they were broken, they just kind of left them there because I think they probably work on them right at that spot. There's no room. We went from left to right. It was basically a block. I almost want to say. I think it was a block for that street. We went from left to right, and then we went from front to back, and it just you couldn't even see the other side of anything because they had to take walls down to go between rooms and expand the entire bottom floor. And we learned someone does live above it, which is kind of bizarre. But the Galloping Ghost was a galloping great time.
It was. Just for the sheer, I'm like, oh, wait, I see the far wall. And you get over to it, and there's a cutout to the next far wall. And there's a cutout to the next. It's like, wow. I've never seen so many arcade games. Another friend told me about a lot of it, since there's some arcade manufacturers in the Chicago area, some of these might have been one of a kind. It's very possible.
Oh, there were so many titles I didn't recognize. And I'll say the highlight for anybody that's maybe an arcade aficionado is that those darn hologram games.
Yeah, those were interesting. And they were hard too.
They were really hard. They were like, imagine everyone, if you've never played the Holovision games, imagine Dragon's Lair, but with holograms that are really even harder to see. Maybe it's my old eyes, but it was really great to be able to play one of those. And we played one of your favorite classics from back in the day and about threw my arm out.
We did. It was the gun weighed. It was like a real gun, or it felt like it anyway. Get a little bit of Mad Dog McCree, the second one, not the first one. But I think we got about halfway through, and we couldn't kill the guys fast enough. It has this. It's made by American Laser Games, kind of like Dragon's Lair. They're also one of their games. So there's a lot of timing, but you have a gun, so now you got to shoot the thing with the timing on top of it. It makes it even more interesting. And the random game I've played that still sticks in my mind is Domino Man. I don't know why. So you set it, this guy, he's putting down dominoes, just like you think, to set him up so you can knock him down in the big string. And there's these things coming off the side of the boards that will like run into him and knock over your dominoes. So as you're putting them down, you got to stop and push these other things away from your dominoes before they knock them down. So that was interesting. And I got to play my favorite Dig Dug, and somehow ended up with the high score for the day. So I just don't think a lot of people played it, but I was happy, man. So many games, played so many. They're all, I think it was like $25 a person.
It was $25 to get in, and you were going to get your money's worth. That's all there is to it. You are going to get your money. I think we left just because it was like, man, we got to go to bed.
Yeah, but I think we got our money just in Mad Dog.
So that was a great kickoff. And then the next morning, we got up, cleaned and ready, and we headed over to VCF Midwest, not knowing what the heck we were getting into. And again, for anybody who goes to VCF Midwest, it's free to go in. And so it was busy. There were lots of people, but they built it with great aisles. I never felt like I was on top of somebody unless I was trying to look at one little exact thing at a table that was a busy table. Otherwise, while I'm walking the hallways, it felt great. I had such a good reception when I got in there and I saw how big it was, and I saw how spacious it was. And even the noise level wasn't out. I'm telling you, VCF Southwest in their main room last year, the noise level was higher. And the rows were tighter. They were really having to push things in. So I was very glad to see the way this layout was done. And I tell you what, Ryan, I walked away from this going, we just went to a huge ass swap meet that had events and demonstrations all over the place. How did you feel? How do you kind of, if you were to tell someone in one sentence what it's like, what would you say?
I think it's, I agree. Some of the other VCFs, they have their consignment areas. This guy, it's everything in one. It's in there. It's Prego. It's in there. You're walking through, you're seeing a setup of, they had a phone company effectively set up in there and wired it all over. So you have a phone company in the middle and they're connecting booths together. There's phones all over. And then you have some guy selling, games and hardware, which we'll get to shortly, but it's going to there, and it's like, oh wow, Blue Scuzzy's there. They got this little Apple Tower of like Scuzzy discs in it, and it's a lot of everything all together. I can't believe they ran DSL inside the event hall.
Overwhelming is also another good word.
Yes, amazingly overwhelming. I was just like, there's a couple times it was like, oh my, I don't know what's going on. And when you guys actually said, hey, we need to go get dinner, I wanted to press forward, but I'm glad I listened to you all to go get food because it gave time to decompress, put my crap back together, and we're back in the hall.
That's right. It was, and when Ryan says like about hardware, we passed one table in the PC kind of centric area. And let's say what, 90s or 2000 PC era? Easy, late 90s. 2 tables just covered in stuff in all the bins underneath the tables. It was It was like someone pulled their U-Haul van up, opened the back door, and sped off, and everything just kind of went bloop and out on the floor.
Yeah, there was a lot of that. There was I saw there's a whole booth of like 8-bit, a lot of Commodore, 8-bit stuff.
Yeah.
Going on right when you came in. That was pretty neat. Tons of stuff. I saw, for me, everyone knows, I saw my Amiga stuff, a couple of Amiga booths, pretty happy with that. It was a ton. What was one of the exhibits you saw that you and I say exhibits, folks, around this same swap meet big area, people have set up their demonstrations. Mm-hmm. People have set up to sell and show a demonstration. Some people are just selling. But exhibit-wise, what people were showing, what stuck out, number one? Oh, for me, two things. The first, the Amiga wire-wrapped chips.
Oh, yeah.
With Dale Luck brought the early Agnes, Paula, Denise, which was those were great. Got to chat with him. Super nice guy. Loved it, and that was my holy grail kind of thing for me, because I missed him at VCF East. We couldn't go, and I wanted to see. I saw the pictures and stuff, but it just was different seeing them in person and looking at them and just all the wires and the chips. So from an Amiga perspective, that's my number one. From a general overall, there was an engineer and his wife that built some robots.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm with you on that. That's number one for me. Go on.
Yeah, the robots. They built two robots, and they would, like, the ones is like his pet. So effectively in the morning, he'll charge himself and he'll go wander around their shop and just like avoid things and just kind of wander around and figure out where he's at. And if he needs power, he'll go back and charge himself. But the best part about it, he was made in the mid 80s.
Okay, you answered my question. I was going to say, do you remember when he made that? Because folks, you could think, what's the dog thing? What's the dog thing we have?
Oh, the Luna.
Yeah, you could say, oh, he has a Luna that runs around his shop. And Luna could run around the shop, right?
You're right.
No, he hand built this in the 80s. Now, he's always done some upgrades to it, but it looks like it's from when he built it 40 years ago.
I think it was. The other one, it's like the Luna we have, a more popular one is the Sony Abo, is their Sony stock. But he had this little chart up where the robot was sending information to, like, it detected where things were. And he had it plotting it on a screen, and it was at the top of every hour, it would wake up and start driving around. And he built this one because the other one he had built was on loan to a museum and he missed it. So he built another one.
Huey and Dewey, I think he named them after the Duck kids, right?
I think so.
Yeah, something like that.
They're really cool. I mean, I think the one had looked like a half of a hamster ball in the front and the back, and all of the electronics in the middle. It was super cool. That was one of the coolest things I saw. I don't think he got enough attention of what was really going on, because it wasn't fast. It was a processor from the 80s trying to take all of the sensor data and then go do something with it. So it would drive a little bit, stop, and you would just sit there for 30 seconds while it's processing it and go, oh, do I back up? Do I turn right? Do I turn left? And then can I drive some more until I detect another obstacle? And it was super cool. That was really high on my list.
That pausing was so, when I booted, because I emulated and I finally got into this with you. And the first time I played Zork from a disk drive, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot how long these games could take. When you emulate and you're just playing real fast, it's like, I open the mailbox, there's a leaflet, get the mail. You do 10 commands in 5 seconds. Whereas that robot, it would get its details, and it was so cool. It was so neat when it would pause like that. It was going, where should I go next? I'm going to go right. And it was neat to watch. That was amazing. His wife was amazing. I'm really glad they were there.
Yeah, she was really entertaining, because he's the electrical engineer. She was, I think, a chemical engineer. And she's explaining this and going, it's got some processor, 80 something, something, something. I don't know. whatever. He's the electrical engineer. I'm the chemical engineer. It doesn't really matter. It's going and moving. She was hilarious. It was great to see them together doing stuff. So that was phenomenal. You hit on the swap meet.
I loved it. That had to be. If it wasn't for robots, I may have said the number one thing to me was the swap meet feel. It's so, anybody who's in Dallas that's old is going to remember First Saturdays under the bridge, where we would all have a boot sale and we would be swapping, selling, buying, and it felt that same feeling of digging and picking. And the prices, folks, they were not eBay prices. They were, I feel they were fair pricing. It wasn't like I'm walking away with steals, but I wasn't getting eBay pricing. It just felt like it was good. Like I saw those 128, the 128Ds that weren't meant to be. And when I really looked at what they were and what they were selling for on eBay, these were good deals. They were very fair. So I'm looking forward to next year. I'm starting to build my list of what I want to get next year. And I am going to definitely go back with a punch list. I'm going to go to the UPS store on Sunday, and I'm going to ship my own stuff back to me. So I bet you're going to see me kind of hold off on any purchases, because holy smokes, there was anything I could really want there.
Yeah, it was quite a bit. They had that. They had a charity auction.
Oh, the auction.
Well, we didn't even. That is a thing that they do. That people donate things, and that's how the tickets become free for everybody, because that helps the funding for the actual event. I weirdly looked for a little Tandy TRS, not TRS, Tandy 102, a little handheld battery operated laptop from like early 80s. Went for a little higher than what I wanted to go with, but that's okay. They're out there. They exist. That was kind of neat. And also, I loved the wireless. We had the phone company there. They were running phone lines all over. But there were a couple different wireless things floating around, too.
Okay. One was the mesh network that was based off of, it was the gentleman we talked to the longest, that we were at his little booth where he had the payphone and stuff. You talked to him about watching his video online. What was that mesh network?
That was different. So that one was just a packet radio.
Okay, packet radio. That was packet radio. Okay.
There was packet radio. He used normally when you hear packet radio, to me, I'm thinking of it on the ham radio bands around VHF. He used a unlicensed band right above that has like 6 channels. This VHF, and he used that for his because it didn't need to have a licensed control operator. So I saw that. I saw another one. He had like 5 machines or something. He had 3. I think there were a couple others around the show floor. And I think there was another one that had packet radio on ham bands at another booth that you were doing stuff. And the third one was the Mesh-tastic. That's on the Loran radio stuff. So they were actually selling radios there. I know I've looked online. You can go build them. You can buy the transmitter chip and buy different pieces and put them together yourself and attach them to like a Pi or whatever. So there's at least 3 radio systems floating around out there. That was pretty cool.
Dear listener, I'm glad Ryan's there to get these names right, because you noticed I was thinking of packet one and I called it the mesh one, and I would have called the other one the wrong name. So thanks, Ryan, for always keeping us straight.
I'm trying, I love the radio stuff. That was pretty high on my list. Being a licensed amateur radio operator, I love radio. It's why and this digital mode stuff is why I got my license so many years ago. So it was really, really neat to see that. It makes me want to go. I have some of the gear to go do it, and I have radios. I just haven't put them all together. So now it's just giving me a little bit of energy to do that. I know you were going to go to an event, but you missed it. What happened? What were you going to do, and what's going on?
Thank God they record these and stream them later. And again, folks, I just can't tell you how much there was to look at, right? There was just so much that I didn't really want to leave the main hall and go to an event. And that's what I rationalized. They're going to they're filming the events, they're going to stream them. But this room's only really here for a day. And we learned that on Sunday, that it does change on Sunday morning. But this room we were in was here today. And so I kept focused on hitting booths. I kept focused on talking to people. And I'm glad I did. I think I would have been sad if I went and spent, 3 hours, 4 hours doing events and then missed as much time in the exhibit hall as I could have. So I don't know. How'd you feel about that, missing events?
Yeah, from the talks, that didn't bother me so much. I knew they were streamed. I thought you were trying to go find a BBS meetup event that you missed.
Oh, yes. Thanks for the reminder. Yes, Particles BBS. I went and posted right before coming out that, hey, who's at VCF Midwest? Look for a guy with Rich and High Shelf Rich on his badge and say hi. And people were there. And when I got back, there were tons of comments from the people that went. The one guy who said he wanted to do a meetup at 1:30 said, A, my sign was too small. B, it was his first time, so he didn't understand the layout, so he couldn't tell us where he was going to be at 1:30. But next year, he is going to do better. He's going to pick a spot. He's going to make a bigger sign, so all the Particles people can get together and visit and talk BBS stuff at the same time for a little bit. He did run into one person, and they both kind of talked online. But the chatter after VCF Midwest on the BBS was really high too. I came into like 30 new messages about this, that, and the other. And a majority of those were people recounting the mesh network, the packet radio network. People were talking about those things. It was really cool.
Oh, that's awesome. I got to get onto the BBS stuff. I haven't done it enough. I've hit a couple things, but that's a thing that I'm definitely interested in as well. Seeing some of that BBS stuff, bringing back some good memories, right?
Yeah.
It's some good, like-minded, just tech people. How do we make this stuff work? And so I'm definitely looking.
Sarah, checking mail or message boards on a BBS, again, time consuming. I mean, I'm sitting there reading one message and it's message done. Nowadays, with our TikTok culture of just flip through things, let's doom scroll. There's no doom scrolling on a BBS, so I kind of like that. It slows you down. You actually have to take time to read, and then when you reply, you're clicky clacking in. It's really fun, Ryan. So maybe you'll join me on Particles one day. That's a pretty busy little board, but you've had a lot of programming to do, so I understand why you've been busy.
Yeah, that's been my 100% focus. I'm getting things together for that. That'll come in the future. That'll be out by the time this thing drops. And for those that know, that's my email stuff, but that's not what we're talking about today. What did you buy? You love the swap meet.
Yeah.
So we know you bought stuff.
Yes, I packed a bag in a bag like you. I think you brought 2 bags. I packed a bag in
two bags.
So I knew I had some space to come back with. And then I also figured out where the UPS store was in case I bought a 128D. I was ready for that. So I did get enough stuff to fill my bag. Free pile, unbelievable. 5 1/4 diskette holder with all of its little label. What do you call the dividers? With all of its dividers in beautiful shape. So I took that from the free table. Couldn't beat that. I was looking at all the booths and everything going on. In one of the Commodore, I'm going to call it like salvage bin areas, right? It was like one of these swap meet areas. It was 2-3 tables just full of Commodore stuff. Mm-hmm. I picked up a mouse in a box with the manual, with the diskette, with the driver. I'm just like, I got to buy this. And it was, again, a great pickup. When I did get home, I did find it's not working fully. The buttons click, but the roll around doesn't. I opened it up. It's clean as a whistle inside. No bad looking damage. The ball looks good. When you do move it, the little things do spin. I don't know what to call the things the balls hit, but what do you call them? I don't know.
I don't know what they're called, but
rolly things. That's what
it'd be neat to know if once it's plugged in, if you take the ball out, if you can just spin them yourself, does it actually move the mouse? Yep.
I tried to, because then I went with the top off, brought it back to my computer, turned it back on, and then just tried manually interrupting with it, and it wouldn't. I did find immediately that night that there was someone who had made a blog post saying, "Oh, I just got this mouse, the same one I have, 1351, I think it is, and the buttons work, but it doesn't roll. Here's how I fixed it."
Perfect.
So I have what you would call content now.
Content, yes.
And the last thing I picked up for you, but ended up keeping it because I need to send you a software version and I need to scan the manual. A complete box of Gore-Tex and the microchips for the VIC-20. So it's mainly a shelf piece for me. And you open it up, it had a beautiful manual in great shape, not bent, not nasty. It had the 2 tapes that I hope I can read. And it even came with the little sticker that it was supposed to come with. So
that's amazing.
I know. I got a fun little deal here. So that's mainly a shelf one. Ryan, I know he likes Gore-Tex and the microchips. So I was like, here, I got you a gift. And he's like, Mitch, what I really need is just the tap files. So I can play it on my pet emulator. Or when he builds his Mr. FPGA, he can make it a pet. So I now have to learn how to, I got tape drives. And I've got the Ultimate 2. So now I've got to learn how to play my tape, bring it into the Ultimate 2 and make a tap file and then get that tap file over to Ryan. So those are the things I walked away with. It packed my bag. I put all my stuff around it. It all made it back to Dallas perfectly.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear it.
What'd you get, buddy? What'd you buy?
I picked up a few things. I got a little Amiga RGB out to S-Video and composite adapter.
Oh,
I
cool.
brought a couple of those. That's pretty nice. I also got a T-shirt, got some stickers. I wasn't able to get the VCF East T-shirt with the Amiga on it, so they were there, and they had my size, so I picked that up. And I got an accelerator for my Amiga. It's just for 3000, 4000. It's a BFG 9060, and it has a Rev 6 Motorola 68060 CPU on it, which is the last Motorola 68000 CPU that was made, last revision, runs a little cooler, can be overclocked. It's still in a box because I'm trying to finish my email stuff before I go play with that. But I'm super excited about it. It's going to go in my 4000 tower. It should be, 2 to 4 times faster than the 040 that's in it, which I'm super excited about. Yeah. Gives me another 128 megabytes of RAM on that card as well. Yeah, it's going to be really cool. Looking forward to it. Hoping everything works. It seems like it came from a person that was, he's tested everything. It's got a little fan on it, a nice Noctura fan, so it's already mounted and the heat sink and everything all ready to go for overclocking. Really, really excited about that. And he threw in some games.
Oh, that's right.
A stack of games from him as well. So I'm pretty excited. I haven't gone through them yet, so I need to do that as well and put them in my spreadsheet so I know what I have.
How many games?
It's north of 10.
It was great. And, okay, so I got some questions about BF. Are you done? Was that all?
I think that's all I really bought.
Okay. The BFG blah, blah, blah. Anybody who plays Doom knows what BFG stands for. What does the BFG in this card stand for? Do you have any clue, or do you think it's still a joke about the big freaking gun?
I am not sure what it stands for, to be honest.
Well, we're going to say it stands for the big freaking gun, is what we're going to say it stands for. And is it a new build to be an old equipment, or is this old equipment that just looked phenomenal?
Yeah, I mean, this was made a couple years ago. Looks like came out in 2022.
Okay, that's a new build for old equipment. That's really cool.
Yeah, it uses there's an FPGA on it. I can see the board, and then but the Motorola 68060 is an old processor that sits on it, and it's got some firmware on it, so it does the magic for you because some instructions change from the 040 to the 060. So it does magic for you and interrupts some of those. So it'll boot in a little older OS. So that's kind of cool. It's really neat. It's definitely a pretty cool thing. I'm really looking forward to playing with it because I know the new Settlers game wants a faster processor to play that. Not that I bought the game yet, but that's on my future list of
It's
things
going
to
to happen.
buy.
You getting the game is going to happen. And now you can play it on vintage hardware with great speeds.
Correct. And I could play it before emulated in one of the UAEs, AMI Barrier, FS UAE, but this will let me play it on my 4000T and just enjoy it in that aspect. So there's a lot of exploration going on here that will go on with this to make this happen. I just don't know why it's called the VFG, honestly, but that's okay.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Hey, Ryan, get a link, put it in the show notes. That way everybody can go look for it or see it and, know what the heck that is. I still don't really know what that is.
It's open source. You can go build one if you want.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, link to the project. Totally. That's awesome. I did walk away without buying something at the show that I then bought later, which
was that?
Kind of a new thing for retro stuff also, Ryan. I got the
Nice.
64 OS.
Oh, tell us about that. That's the one thing you were playing with a little bit with a lot of those switchers, right?
Yeah, there were some folks doing an exhibit, and at their exhibit they were showing off C64 OS, which is a new operating system built to work on your Commodore 64 that's GUI. Hence why maybe I got a mouse too. And
that's good reason.
The guys there were really awesome. They talked a lot about it. They were glad to share everything. They mentioned and gave me the website, and they mentioned the guy who runs it, this Greg guy. He's like, oh, he's a really great guy. Talk on Discord all the time or wherever they chit chat. I don't know. They met someplace. And so I get back home and I boot up my computer and I go, okay, let me go look at that. I think it was Tuesday. And I went to go buy it. It's out of stock because he actually sends you an SD card that goes in your RetroPie 1581 emulated, disc, right? And I have one of those. And so he sends you an SD card with it on there. And so I said, you know what? Everyone said how nice he was. So on Wednesday, I said, you know what? I'm going to email the guy. And I'm just going to say, hey, met those folks. They all mentioned how awesome this is. They did a great job representing your product. I know they weren't together. This was a group of people having fun. And I just want to know when I should set a calendar reminder to come check your website. Is it 2 weeks, 2 months? I don't care. I'm just going to come back once it's in stock. He emails me back like within a day, lickety split, actually twice. One, he said, it's going to be up soon. I just got in new stock. I got to put a few things together, but it's going to be orderable probably by the time you see this email. And then immediately emails me, it's open. You can go in and get it. So I did. And this time, I've not only got the C64 OS, but he also sells a 9-pin to Bluetooth adapter for you to use one of your modern mouses that has the little Bluetooth dongle that comes with it.
Yeah.
That's really a PC thing more, than Mac Bluetooth works beautiful. It's more of a PC thing. You need that little dongle. And you just plug it in, then you plug that into the 9-pin port. It gets enough power to run it, and you can use a new mouse. So when C64 OS comes in, if my mouse isn't fixed, I don't care. I just use one of my other mice.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And you saw some cool mouse things there too. I remember you were chatting with that one young man about he took a $15 IBM mouse and turned it into an Amiga mouse. Is that right?
Yeah, he did. He had the Microsoft Serial mouse.
That's what it was.
Changed the insides of it and made it work on an Amiga. And I was like, oh, well, that's kind of cool. Yeah. Now, from a mouse perspective, I did pick up another track thing.
You got the trackball, the Wicco.
Yep. So I got one out there. It needs help.
Yeah.
It needs cleaned. It needs refurbished. I had bought one from eBay that is nice and clean and refurbished and all of that. It's a slightly different model.
Ryan, I think the one you bought has been modified.
Well, I don't know, because it's got this little black button, which I don't even know what that thing's for. The other one doesn't have it.
See,
and it's got some 9-pin thing on it, which I don't know what that's for either.
I think you're going to find that's a pass-through, so they could also have a joystick hooked up at the same time. I think you bought a really neat piece there, and I can't believe we missed it there for a second. I think that's a really neat piece you have.
I picked that up. I saw it when we got there Saturday morning from there. There was a big booth of 8-bit Commodore stuff and some other things, and it was in a box of stuff, and it was like, oh, and he made a deal, and I was like, yep, I'll take that. So we'll see.
Well, Ryan, that actually is good stuff to buy. I have a new report for everybody. You ready?
Uh-oh.
For stupid shit I buy. You ready?
Dun, dun, dun.
I tried to do a drum roll. It doesn't work.
Nice.
Ryan, I am officially a founder.
What, did you buy it?
I bought a Founder C64 from the new Commodore people. I broke down.
Ooh.
I broke down. We've talked about it. Folks at home, we've talked about this just personally, kind of on the ride home or whatever, and we're just BSing, and I'm like, no, I don't need one. I got this. No, I don't. But I keep talking about it. And then we're at Midwest, and people are like, oh, yeah, have you got a Founders yet? I got a Founders. And maybe it was FOMO, maybe? Or maybe it was just me being dumb. I don't know. But I bought one. I told Sarah, the worst case scenario is I get the box and I put it up and I wait a year and I see if anybody's still buying them more than what I bought it for. You know what I mean? Because there could be that once they are being sold, a year or two can go by and people that are now in the hobby or like me that were holding out go, you know what? I want one of those Founder ones too. I don't like just the regular bread bin one. I want a Founders one. And I don't know, maybe I can get rid of it, or odds are I'll take it all out and start using it. And I'm going to tell everybody about how awesome the Founders Edition C64 is. I don't know, Ryan, why I do these things.
I think you're going to buy it. I think you're going to enjoy it. It is your wheelhouse of things.
Yeah.
It's just like the new retro A1200 that's going to get more information about it next month in October. I'll probably end up buying one. I don't need one. I have so much other stuff.
Ryan's like, I still got my Mr. FPGA in a box.
It's in a box. It's back there in a box. I don't know.
Well, Ryan, these are the dumb things we do. And I guess I'm just really glad that I can do some of these dumb things in my life and have fun with them. And I have that extra time to have fun with them. So, everyone hang tight for the next dumb shit I buy. But it's coming. Trust me, there'll be something in a few episodes that we'll see what I do.
I think that was a good buy for you. I think it's in your wheelhouse, and I think you're going to have fun with it. And you're going to program the LEDs to do weird things at certain times, and I'm assuming you can do that. And you're just going to have fun with it. It's just going to look cool.
Fingers crossed, bud. Fingers crossed. Wow, a little bit longer of an episode today. I still feel like there's 15 things I could tell you about VCF. Oh, last one, Ryan. Last thing I want to talk about. Sunday. Sunday. Showed up on Sunday.
What did happen when we showed up on Sunday?
Oh, you maybe don't know where I'm going. I didn't write this down. Dude, how many vendors were there on Sunday?
There were a few less on Sunday.
Yeah.
Than before, but there were also some making a deal, I'll tell you that.
That's right. There were deals, but the 128D that I wanted to go look at that was in a box, that vendor bailed after Saturday. And I want to say, I don't know, I'm going to make a conservative number. I'm going to say 15% of the people were gone that were vendors on Sunday.
And even some of the exhibitors. I know like Dale Luck left. He had other plans. So he had left. He wasn't there on Sunday. So if you're looking for him or his Amiga wire wrap chips, he wasn't there. He was a Saturday only thing. So yeah, and that's fair.
Oh, it is. And that's just a forewarning for someone who wants to go. If you want to make a deal on something, wait till Sunday. If you know you want to get something, you better grab it Saturday because they could be gone.
Yeah, and that box 128D, I saw it in the morning, and I didn't purposely look in the evening, but I don't remember seeing it there either. So it probably sold.
Yeah, it wasn't meant to be for me. No. It was meant to be for someone else.
Correct. And that's just what it is. Getting a little bit at a time is actually more fun because then you get to play with it and use it.
Yeah.
and you don't have a backlog of stuff like a mister in a box.
I got mine, baby. I got so many backlog items it hurts. But yeah. So Sunday was that way. And I think we wrapped up great. Josh and us, I think we got a new VCF friend because we had a great time all hanging out. Lots of great conversation, lots of similar background interests. We had lunch and dinner with them all the time, and hopefully maybe VCF Southwest, he might come down, or you might come down, or we might meet up again at Midwest. I have a feeling we'll see more of him in the future.
Yeah, I hope so. It was a good time. It was a great, relaxing event, and it was a good one for our first time there. So, yeah, it was great. Well, thank you all. Hopefully you enjoyed our stories. I know there's a lot of information about Midwest. I'm looking forward to the things that hopefully have been posted by the time this drops, of all the different talks that sadly we didn't get to go to, but we'll get to watch them there. And it was just a great time.
Bye. Like and subscribe.